Hi, good morning, and welcome to week 14. I still do sound like I have a broken nose, which is proof that you can eat right, exercise, and still develop sinus infections because we age. But this week I'm just going to give you some brief reminders about your papers, because I have been seeing a few papers, and then kind of preview the weeks ahead. So that we all kind of agree on where we're going in the next 2 weeks. The only thing that I'm noticing is that I want to make sure that you're following all the points of the assignment so that you don't lose any points there. One, I have to be able to actually see what you independently read or viewed as your outside movie or book. It doesn't have to be the entire focus of your paper, but I want to see that you went above and beyond and grabbed some other source for this, that you actually read the whole thing or you actually viewed the whole thing. Your source count, too, just make sure that you have 3 outside sources and 2 inside sources. And what I mean by that is you're making reference back to 2 sources that we've used in this class. Also, please make sure you're citing all these consistently and according to either MLA or APA. I think you've been introduced to both throughout your college careers, so whichever one you feel more comfortable with, you just can't use them both in one paper. And these are due Sunday night in order to be on time. I will definitely accept them past that deadline, but you obviously won't receive full credit past that deadline. I'd love to be able to try and correct all these next week so that you get them back before the class actually ends. And just make sure you proof them. I don't want anyone to be overly stressed about this, but I do want you to give them your best effort and your attention. And the other thing is, please make sure that we're still in class, and we want those posts to be strong and academic. Some of you are doing a wonderful job, but some of you, your posts are getting a little short. So make sure we're still all at about 1 short paragraph, and that we're really paying attention to the questions. I've tried to lighten up a little bit on the load while we worked on our papers. And just make sure you continue to participate, because if you don't miss any weeks, remember that I do drop your lowest grade in both of the forms. Coming up, you have 2 chances to give me feedback, and I really do appreciate the time you put into these. The CCV standard evaluation is linked in the last 3 weeks, and you can do that at any point in the last 3 weeks. And the other thing I'm going to do is in the last week, you're going to have a post. I wasn't going to make it anonymous because I think some of you might just want to say goodbye to your peers, and that will be a little more course specific than the CCV standard evaluation. And I really do appreciate the time and the feedback that you give me in both those areas. And coming up this week, just so you know, what's going to happen is the discussion forum is going to split into 2 tracks. And so just kind of as you watch that TED Talk, decide which of those questions you're going to answer, and then you're going to post and reply to the one of the 2 tracks that I started, whichever is more intriguing for you. And I was going to shift it up a little bit because next week is our last film. It's The Future of Food, and it's about genetically modified foods. It's very good, and it really explains how these things have come to be. It does repeat a little bit of the information from Food Inc., but it can be a little dry. And so what I wanted to do is say, if you didn't want to watch The Future of Food, please watch any other food documentary, as long as we haven't used it and it wasn't the film that you watched for your paper. And I'll try and make my question or my prompt into the discussion forum broad enough so that you will be able to bring in the film that you watched. So as you're scrolling through Netflix, if there's something else that you want to watch and it's about food, please watch that instead. I trust you guys. I think a lot of you are leaning in one direction or another in terms of your interests in food by now. So if you want to watch Future of Food and you're into GMO controversy, please do. But if you're into maybe something more like obesity or food choices, see if there's something else out there that you'd rather watch. And there are a couple of readings for next week, but they're short, and I hope you do enjoy them. But just make sure that you're still engaged in the class as we're coming to an end here. All right? Email me if you have any questions, and I appreciate your time.